Hello and welcome to today's podcast episode of The Beanery, Chronic Musings of a Stone Screenwriter. I'm your host, Eric Bean. Hey, how you guys doing today? I have producer Becca in the studio with me today. So you'll be able to hear her, but you won't be able to see her because she doesn't want to be on camera. So for those of you catching the YouTube video, that's why. So today we're gonna go over the Rude Boy, and since it's my first time smoking it, I had to do a little research on it, right? So let's see, we got Rude Boy's parents are Face Off OG and Irene OG, which I haven't had either, but Becca kind of wanted to try this out, and I'll let her tell you why she was kind of checking this out. She herself is a licensed card holder in the state of Florida, so she, she's good, she's able to smoke it, so it's all good. So anyways, come on, Becca, go ahead and enlighten us on why you wanted to, why this particular strain stood out to you and you wanted to give it a shot.
Well, one of the whole reasons that I wanted to get my cannabis card was because I struggled with depression for a good portion of my life. And, once it became legalized, it's like depression was one of the, things that would qualify me to get it. So I went for it. I prefer vaping just because it hits a little bit easier on the throat and you don't always have that really strong smell. And I was looking at all the different cartridges that Move had, and this one in particular stood out the most to me because the first medical benefit or condition that it helps treat is depression, as well as stress and anxiety, insomnia, fatigue, which is all stuff that I actually struggle with on a day-to-day basis.
Awesome. Okay. That's good. Because I'm sure that that's going to help a lot of the listeners because depression is such a huge debilitator in the U.S. So yeah, as she said, there's other things that it helps with. It helps with stress, pain, insomnia, fatigue. I know I suffer from insomnia, not so much fatigue anymore, because I slave away for the man every day, so it doesn't seem like I get fatigued. But I'm interested to give it a shot just for the pain relief. So I want to see how that is. So, all right. It comes in a nice, pretty blue, pretty orange package. This is a disposable pen, and one of the reasons why I like the disposable pens over the others is because they're inexpensive. So, it gives you a chance to try the product
without breaking your bank.
Without breaking the bank, exactly. So, they're $35 for the disposable pens, but since I work in the industry, and yes, you will notice that I am wearing a Vitacan t-shirt and a Tikkun Olam hat, and I wear them quite frequently. One, because it's a really comfy t-shirt. It's really well made. But two, I work at Vitacan, and but they're switching out to Cresco. So they're actually doing a lot of really good sales right now. Trying to get rid of the Vitacan packaged products so they can bring in the Cresco lines. So that's actually it's really nice. So
now is it just going to be Cresco, or are you guys going to have?
Cresco has rebranded. I believe it's like Sunshine or something like that. Sunrise or sunshine. Yeah, and so it's going to be really interesting. And so unlike their regular vapes, they're in their regular vape carts instead of their disposable ones. They have colored tips on them, so you know if it's a sativa, indica, or a hybrid. Where their disposables do not. So you have to make sure if you have more than one disposable pen from them that you label it so you know exactly what you've got. Exactly. Because, if you're looking for, a certain particular type of relief from a sativa and then you go to smoke an indica and it couch locks you and,
Exactly.
So.
And vice versa.
Make sure that, you can get because these have a really nice finish on them. You can stick like a piece of masking tape on it and, write what it is.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's life hack 101, right? So
labels.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the flavor of it. Because, everything's telling me that it has a piney, earthy, and pungent scent. Piney, earthy taste with a pungent scent. So we're going to give it a shot, see what it's all about. All right?
Go for it, man.
All right.
To me, it doesn't have a very pungent smell either. It smells piney.
Yeah, and you can definitely taste the piney. And I don't know if it's from the ethanol extraction versus a CO2 extraction, or it could be just that it's a disposable. But I mean, it's to me it was harsh on the back of the throat.
A little bit.
But
then again, I dig deep hits.
Yeah. But it did have a really good flavor to it. I like
it kind of has like a
piney and earthy flavor.
Yeah.
It really came out whenever on the exhale.
To me, it kind of has like a confectionery flavor to it. It almost tastes like a caramel, I guess.
Really?
To me,
I didn't quite get that. I mean, that could be part of the earthy tone.
Or maybe brownies. I don't know. It just has a very sweet flavor.
I think you're just hungry.
Possible.
So, all right. So there you go. That's pretty much. I'm just kind of waiting for the buzz to set in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely had the piney and earthy flavor come out on the exhale. It was really nice. It surprised me because I was trying to hold back my cough from the I guess the
from that
from the raspiness in the back of the throat. So I was actually trying to hold back a cough, and then when that pininess came out, it's like, oh, okay, now it actually forced me to cough because it was a little strong, but it was good. And you're right, I don't get the pungent scent. Yeah. Mm-mm. So, but yeah, I could definitely, I could see
how to some people it might.
Yeah.
But I like the flavor. Yeah, it still has a little bit of a sweetness to it. There's the pine.
Pine earthy scent? Oh, okay. All right, so there you go, guys. It has a nice. It has given me a nice mellow body feel.
Yeah.
And it's it's
kind of relaxing.
Yeah, it's definitely relaxing, and I can feel kind of like the head high from it, which is weird because it's a sativa dominant. I mean an indica dominant.
Right,
strain.
so it usually goes for the body.
Yeah, but I think it's because it's helping relieve the stress in the mind to help me relax. So
because central nervous system
insomnia.
Controls this, and that makes sense.
Yeah, because the bitch know I'm tired. So, All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review, and our next review will actually be over Move's pre-roll of the Lemon Margie, which I'm looking forward to. Awesome. Okay, so you're probably gonna want to shoot me after I tell you this, but we're gonna redo that question just because for some reason my record button turned off.
Turns off. It's like, I don't want to hear all that nonsense he's saying.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the plug that I've got, the wall plug. Maybe it's not pulling. I don't know. I've never had this many technical difficulties during one interview in my entire life. So,
Jeez, stuff happens, really. I mean, I'm using I know my apps on my computer. I'm doing something on Adobe Animate or whatever, and it'll just say, "Hey, I'm going to crash now while you're working."
yeah. It says, "Hey, by the way, screw you."
And all your work is gone.
All right.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's pretty early over here still, so.
Okay. So, but I really enjoyed that question so much. We're going to jump right back into that interview question. As an actor, you are challenged in many ways. From the environment, emotional, physical, you name it. Everything is a challenge as an actor. What has been your greatest challenge so far?
Well, from the many examples you laid out, emotionally, physically, I couldn't agree more. I mean, every role has its different challenges. One briefly that was specific was I had to learn how to fence for a film. It's called Devil in White. It's a short film. I had to go through training on that. Good thing the director actually had experience in fencing, so he was able to help out with my and the other actors' training in fencing. Great experience, by the way, something completely different. But I'd say for any film, in any series, no matter what it might be, this doesn't go just for me, but for any actor, is accurate portrayal of your character. And the reason I think it's so important is because this aids people's immersion into what you're watching. If they can see it as being real, that's what we're trying to do. So being organic, being real, and having an accurate portrayal of whatever character we're playing, that'll help people in their escape or whatever it is they're trying to do, be inspired by this film. So that's my number one thing is accuracy. I want to make it believable. It has to be real, no matter what it might be that I'm portraying, all the different roles that I do. That's the number one challenge because that's within every single role. And probably my favorite example of this touches on character arcs as well, and the portrayal of a character and being accurate is the great Bryan Cranston as Walter White in Breaking Bad. Just finished that. I'm very late, I know, but
a little bit.
It's okay. It was honestly, I've never seen something like it. But his character arc was honestly, in my opinion, perfect. We didn't see him Breaking Bad out of nowhere, right? This didn't just happen. But we saw this over time gradually occur. He became something else slowly. We saw how his environment changed him, how the people around him were aiding toward him becoming what he inevitably became. And so the accuracy that he portrayed there and just was honestly perfect. The arc, everything. He slowly became something. It made it so much more enjoyable to watch because I'm looking at this and it looks like it could be so real because it's as if it was real. And that's what we want to do and be accurate with our portrayal because it makes for a much more believable and enjoyable and entertaining time for the audiences that we're making this for.
Indeed. And you can be more perfect with your summarization of Bryan Cranston. I mean, in Breaking Bad, Walter White is just a phenomenal character. You haven't seen the entire series, I take it?
I have. Yeah, I've seen that in the movie as well.
Oh, okay. So I haven't watched the movie yet. I was going to tell you, that if you haven't seen the movie. It just came out, and it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to watch it. I'm going to watch it right after this interview.
Yeah, I really liked that. Aaron Paul as Jesse Pink, that's another example. He, honestly, he blew me away as well, always has. So he's just another great example. And all the other actors in it as well. So
Yeah.
it's a great watch.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't a big Aaron Paul fan until Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And when I saw the depth of character that he was able to get into in Breaking Bad, it was just it just blew me away. And so
Yeah.
I've been trying to catch up on all of his work, just to give it a second chance, a second look over, so I'm looking forward to that as well.
Of course.
In acting, whenever you're trying to get into a role, what is the biggest frustration about that to you? That whenever you're reading your lines and you're trying to embody this character, what is the biggest, I guess, well, it could be an obstacle, but to me, it's more like a frustration. So what's your biggest frustration in dealing with that?
So the frustration of getting into a character, is that what I'm...
Yeah, getting into a character, trying to become that character.
Frustration. Well, I know from my experience, depending on the role, I like to live the character's life. So I would say it's a matter of... it's a really good question.
I try to go deep.
Yeah. Frustration. I guess that kind of goes back to, in a way, the other question of being accurate. When I'm looking at a character, I want to make sure that this is going to do that character justice, really. So it's, to me, I want to do the best I can with a character and make sure that I'm giving this person that I'm going to portray or become justice, because they have an entire, in my eyes, in the world of movies and cinema, they have their own life, they have their own world that they're in. So you can say I could stress myself out with just trying to make sure that I'm doing this person justice and portraying them correctly and becoming them, really. So because I put a lot of work into the method side of just really making sure that this is who this person is, so I'm going to become that.
Awesome. That's great. I mean, and I think a lot of the actors go through the same thing, especially that part of trying to live in the shoes of that character on a daily basis while they're filming, so they don't want to get out of character. I know Joaquin Phoenix uses that method of acting. Because I just read an article where he'd walked off the set of The Joker a couple of different times because he would slip out of character and then he would leave the set until he was able to get back into that character. So it's something that he takes personally, and he's very prideful about it. So yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. So
he's a great example. If I can mention really quickly, is Daniel Day-Lewis is a big inspiration why I employ that technique, because I really want to make sure that this character, this is a real person, and that this is them, and I am no longer, I'm not Reeko anymore. Just really making sure that this person is given justice, if you will. That makes sense.
Oh, definitely. Well, as a screenwriter, I want the actor to embody that character, and because I want that character to have a voice and a personality beyond the page, and so one of the tools that I give an actor to embrace that character is I do character bio. That way they can read the bio and take pieces of that character's past and everything and try to mold it into who they are. And so I think that helps the actors. Do the screenwriters or producers and everything give you an idea or a sheet about the character that you're going to be playing? Or do they just leave it up to your creativity?
It goes both ways. I've had times when I've gotten a complete bio layout, and there's been times when they've just let me have all the creative freedom, and a little bit of both sometimes. I can work with either one. You know, it's a teamwork effort here, you know, as long as we can make sure that the character has its correct portrayal, you know, then I'll go either way with it. I do love having that creative freedom because I really enjoy building a character from the ground up. And so I'd say, yeah, it goes either way. And I can go whichever one. But yeah, building a character from the very bottom and up is just a really, really enjoyable experience and process.
All right, so I know you're not out in LA, but I'm sure it's the same out in Vegas because they do a lot here as well. But you know, when you're on location or shooting a film, what do you find is your greatest resource that you use most often? You know, to either get into a character or to help, you know, research the project that you're on or whatever.
Well, a lot of that depends on the character I'm portraying. Because if it's something completely polar opposite of me, then I find myself, such as I've played Cold Leader before. So I don't necessarily, I'm not involved in one at the moment, but I find myself looking towards films that have had similar content or characters to the one I'm going to portray. Sometimes I'm reading up on them, watching different videos, lots of research. And not only that, but of course going to the writers and seeing what's in their head and what inspired them to create this character, because they're the ones who, in a way, birthed it. So I want to make sure that my research on that is accurate. And on the opposite end, also, if I'm not playing something completely different of me, I might play an athlete. So I've played an athlete a number of times. It's a lot easier to do that, but I still put in the same amount of work because every character to me, every person that I'm portraying is special. So, and with that, I'm sorry?
No, I was agreeing with you. I was like, all right, awesome.
Yeah, but that's definitely the way I do it. I like to look at films that have had similar characters, read up on the subjects that I need to, different videos. There's not just, I can't tell you, I look at just one resource. There's all kinds that are helping me to build this character.
Yeah. Where are you originally from?
I'm from Akron, Ohio.
I'm originally from Evansville, Indiana. So we're actually next door neighbors.
Yeah. Hey.
One of the things that I love about the film industry is that you get to meet so many different people from so many different backgrounds from all corners of the world, you know, and each one of them that I've talked to, and you really get a sense of how small the entertainment community is, even though it is rather large across the globe, but how small it is when you go to the film festivals, because you're able to see a lot of the same people. It's like little family reunions, because you'll go to this Sunscreen Film Festival, for example, you know, one year, and then you won't see any of the people there again until the following year whenever they come back. And so they're like little mini reunions. And one of the things that I love to ask the people that I meet there is, when did you realize that you had a passion for what you're doing? You know, whether it's acting, screenwriting, producing, you know, when did you wake up and realize that's what I want to do? That's what I want to be?
Well, since forever it was just something I love. I love different, movies, TV shows, comedy, dramas, whatever it was. It intrigued me to see the ability to create other worlds and build people in these new worlds. And everything inside of that story that makes that universe what it is, it's just intriguing me that we're able to create these other worlds, really, and that, it can be completely different to ours, like a fantasy film. I love those, sci-fi, but I take joy in, building these characters that are living in that world, and that's really fascinating to me, really.
I grew up in the 70s and the 80s. Now I'm kind of showing my age there, but I remember when Star Wars first came out in '77, and when the action figures first hit the stores, and I had the action figures long before I saw the movies. I learned that I had a passion for writing shortly after I started watching those movies, because it just opened up something in me, and I wanted to create another world. And when I had all those action figures, I had this big walk-in closet as a kid, and I had these different tables set up, and each table was a different world. And I had every action figure and every ship that came out during that time. And my mom would listen, because she could hear me through the wall, and I would have all these different voices for all these different characters, and I would embody those characters. And I think that's when I realized that I wanted to be a screenwriter. I wanted to create something, but it wasn't until years later that I actually picked up the art and the craft of screenwriting. But I've always been a storyteller. So yeah, I can understand exactly where you're coming from with that.
Exactly. It's really awesome. I mean, it's a privilege, really, to be able to do this. I mean, so many people take in what we're able to create, and that's really awesome.
Yeah. And I remember when we shot the trailer for Starfist, and you can actually go onto YouTube and look for that Starfist trailer. And when I heard the actors saying the lines for the first time on screen, I mean, I teared up, and it was just like a little 2.5 minute, teaser trailer, but it was my words that I'd written that they were saying, and it just made me really emotional and tear up.
Work coming, it's being birthed. It's coming alive. That's a great feeling.
It is. This is going to be kind of like a funny question for you. It's a hypothetical. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Well, you're going to probably love this one. Fits exactly what I like. Here's what I would want to say. My friend, you bow to no one. Can you think what that's from?
Do what now? Can you say that one more time?
My friend, you bow to no one.
It is so. The line is so familiar.
Is Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Okay.
Ring a bell now. End of Return of the King. Yeah, I love that film. I love the entire trilogy.
Yeah.
One of my. But it's perfect. I love fantasy. I mean, that would probably be definitely it. It just works so perfect.
Exactly. It does. So we've asked some questions and everything. I want to touch base back on a gentleman that both you and I are familiar with, by the name of Joe Davison. He's a Tampa Bay, filmmaker, director, producer, actor. He was in the second season of Stranger Things, and you worked on a project with him. And so tell me about the project, or tell me what you can tell me about the project, because I don't know what you can and can't talk about at this time. and how it was to work with Joe Davison.
Oh, first and foremost, Joe Davison, great guy, awesome. He's funny. He's a hardworking guy. I know that even just from working on that Beauty is Skin Deep, first film I've ever worked with him, first project I've ever worked on with him, period. But yeah, every day we were on set, he made sure everything was rolling along. Never skipping beats. We're on everything. He's on top of it. Made it an enjoyable experience because we all, as you know, you worked with him. He is a very funny guy, lots of energy, and I took a lot from him and like how he was doing as a director. He's also an actor as well. I've seen what he's done, Stranger Things, etc. But on what we worked on together, Beauty is Skin Deep, is yet to have been released in the States so far, but it has been shown. Cannes Festival, Madrid International. That one is it's a thriller mystery film. It's based on young adults, and basically there's been a few murders around town. That's all I can really tell you.
Just a few murders.
Yeah, here and there. No. But yeah, it's involved with what the school is called Glenwood High School. It's involved its own students as well. So it's got a lot of elements that people enjoy from what we've seen on Netflix, and the young adult dramas. I know I've always actually wanted to be a part of one, so this was actually really, really awesome to be a part of and do. It was actually a pretty big goal of mine, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. I know it's going to be great, though. Great writer, Jennifer Phillips. Great director, Joe Davison. Many other actors I've worked with before and also some that I haven't, so I'm really looking forward to that. It was a great experience to shoot, and I know it's going to be great, and everyone's going to love it.
So you said you're looking forward to seeing it. Now, there are a lot of actors out there that don't like seeing themselves on screen, so they never watch the movies that they are a part of. So you like watching yourself on screen?
Here's the thing. Whenever a film is released, I honestly do not watch it right away. And that's probably because watching yourself on screen can be sometimes kind of a little weird, I guess. I don't know how to describe that. But yeah, I could say I'm one of those people because I don't watch them right when they come out unless it's a premiere that I'm going to or something like that. But I do eventually watch them. It doesn't take me too long because, of course, I want to be able to critique how I did and just enjoy what we were able to create as a team. But this one's actually it's been shown a few times elsewhere. But this is just one of those films that I've just been waiting so long, and it was an exciting thing to shoot with some people that I've worked with really early on in my career, and then we got to meet up back on this project. So it was something really special to me. So I definitely cannot wait to watch this one. But yeah, I am guilty of not watching all of my films when they come out.
Movie review is over Bright, and it's a Netflix original film. It stars Will Smith and Joel Egerton. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about the film, and then we'll jump into the story.
This film, the reason I really wanted to go into this one is because, as we've already spoken about, I love fantasy, sci-fi, any kind of genre like that. And this mixed in another genre that I really liked, buddy cop movies, whether it be a drama or comedy, such as End of Watch. Love that one. But this movie mixes these two genres that I really, really enjoy, fantasy and the buddy cop genre. I love being able to mesh two worlds together. In this film in particular, it's like a mixture between Middle Earth, I've heard this said before, Middle Earth and our present world. And that really, really interested me with how they could mix today's issues and our society and put a mythical twist on it and still made a really great movie, because that could go bad, but it could be really good. And this one, I think, did it really well, led by two great actors that played off of each other really well. Joel Egerton, Will Smith, everyone else in the cast I really really my biggest takeaway from it is just I loved how they were able to mix these two genres and make a really enjoyable film.
All right. They did a really outstanding job. And like you, I was really impressed with how they were able to mesh those two genres together. The buddy cop, and then to me, even though it's sci-fi, it's more fantasy than it is sci-fi. But it's taken characters out of out of like medieval ages, because that's with the stylings, and I guess that's more the fantasy aspect of it. So yeah, I really enjoy where those two are meshed together. They did a lot of the same thing years ago in a TV. It was a movie first, and then a TV series called Alien Nation. Did you ever watch that?
Doesn't ring a bell, no.
Okay, well, it's another buddy cop show or movie that instead of going the fantasy route, it was actually space aliens. And then it came out with a TV series called Alien Nation. So it wasn't bad. I mean, it not nearly as well done as Bright, but for the time period and the special effects that they had back then, it was still a really decent movie. So, but yeah, this movie, it's buddy cop thing going on with Will Smith and Joel Egerton. I have to hand it to Netflix for doing such an outstanding job with the makeup and the CGI.
Oh yeah,
they definitely spared no expense with this film.
Oh no.
So, and so many of their films now are high budget and should be released in the movie theaters instead of. To me, I mean, because Bright could have been. Bright was, to me, was a movie going experience at a cinema.
Yeah, it was. I agree with that, and how Netflix puts a lot into their films. I mean, a number of great ones that are also about to come out that are just. I mean, they put a lot into it. They're definitely theater caliber films, and the makeup, like you said, they had an orc in a police costume. Who would have thought, right, for Bright? But
yeah, and Joel Egerton. Oh my God, he did such a phenomenal job at that. But he's so talented himself. I mean, because Will Smith is a really good director, producer, actor, obviously. So he wears a lot of hats. But a lot of people don't know that Joel Egerton had a really good movie that came out not too long ago called The Gift. It came out, 5 or 6 years ago, I think. And he directed and wrote it. And played the villain in it. And it was well done. It was a superb show. And I really loved it at the movie theater. And when I saw his name on Bright, I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And then when I was watching, I was like, who the heck is he? I can't tell.
Played that really well. Wow. That sounds a real work.
Yeah. And I was like, he played a round tooth so well. I was blown away by it. And because with having that much makeup on your face, the latex prosthetic and everything to transform you into an orc, and that's got to be hard on the face muscles and being able to show empathy and sadness or laughter and everything, but he was able to really pull it off. So
I know he did. I can speak from experience. I can't tell you what, but yeah, You'll know sooner or later, but I can't really.
All right. Okay. Well, hey, you know what? You can always come back on another episode, right? Whenever you're able to talk about all that. So,
Yeah.
all right. So for the story, okay, what pieces of it really resonated with you, and made it an enjoyable watch?
I would say the real world elements were really, really interesting with how they treated the orcs or anyone of different, different being, if you will, because they had all kinds. They had the fairies, they had the orcs, humans.
Those damn fairies.
Exactly. It's just throw fairies in there, right? But I really liked how they did that and shows how our world is, but that's what I really liked about it. They had orcs and how they portrayed that and putting that into our real world, so we see it from a different angle, and it's just you start to think about it even more and how they treated, his character. How, if I can go into the character development, is that okay?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Because we can
Yeah,
segue right into that.
At the beginning, we know Will Smith's character. He wasn't really fond of him at the beginning. Joel Edgerton's, his orc role, he wasn't really fond of him. But we saw eventually it led up to them really being the buddy cops, and it portrayed it so well with how it led up to that and their experiences together and what they had been through together. And so it shows how, similar to our world, you give people chances. You never know what that could become, what kind of relationship you could have with a person. So I really liked how they were able to portray that so that people could see it from another angle, and how they did it with a fantasy film. That's just even better.
I liked how Will Smith's character, his character arc was pretty insane, because he's having this nightmare about getting shot in the chest, and that's pretty much how you're first introduced to him, is him in this nightmare, and how he was able to trust his partner again, even though his partner had lied to him about what had truly happened. And it was that omission of truth that could have taken their friendship in a totally different direction, but the writer chose to keep that nugget until later in the film, and let that trust be rebuilt from not knowing the truth.
Yeah. Exactly. I love that.
So that went in really deep into Will Smith's character, and I think that he was able to nail it really well. With Joel Edgerton's the orc character, seeing how him not having his bottom tusks, truly impacted, how he looked at himself and belittled himself inside, because he didn't feel that he that he was an orc, because he hadn't been accepted by the orc because of his filed off tusks.
Yeah, exactly.
And that happens in our society every day, and I really love how they touched on it and turned it into something positive. So I was really blown away by that. So the story is excellent. I love the story a lot, and was able to reach in and grab some really deep aspects of it while still enjoying the popcorn aspect of it. And then with the dialogue, you expect, it's a buddy comedy, or it's a buddy drama, excuse me. So you expect some one-liners and some zingers between them, and they didn't disappoint. They didn't disappoint at all. So I was pleasantly surprised, because a lot of times you'll get really great actors into a role or into a movie, and the dialogue is so flat that you're asking yourself, why in the hell did these actors get involved with this project? Did they not read the script? Give it a solid 4.5 stars out of 5. You know, it's a good Netflix and chill movie. It's a good date night movie if you just want to hang with the significant other and watch a movie inside. Because it makes you feel good at the end. It had a really good wrap up of all the different storylines coming into the culmination, and so the end really, to me, really met the expectations of the film. And part 2 is coming out. Yes,
I sure hope it is.
Well, they announced it.
Yeah, I do. I've been waiting.
I know.
Honestly.
I know. Well, they got to make sure that script is right and tight.
Yeah, take their time. I mean, I would do it either way. There's so much more to watch, and so much from all those actors that have been coming out with projects. So they're keeping us well fed. Netflix. Let me tell you, Netflix, everyone. Hulu, Amazon. There's films coming out everywhere. Series. There's so much to watch. My list is huge.
I know, right? There's just not enough time in the day.
Nope, but you'll always have something to watch. You know that.
That's true. That is true. In wrapping this up, overall, how did you feel at the end of the movie?
I felt, honestly, like it was my favorite Netflix movie. No joke. I mean, there's so many of them, but for some reason, this film, it really hit me. It's just a mixture of so many different genres I like, and one of the things that it's a little different, but the credits rolling with the music, and I like to watch credit scenes and with all their different music and soundtracks that they have. It just, for me, it just gives me a feeling that just sums up what I just watched. And the ending of the film, like you said, it was just really, it was great, really. And, the music to go along with that, it's just, this movie was sinking in deep with me and became one of these special films on Netflix, and I believe it. So just summing it up, I just really genuinely enjoyed every single moment, just this film in general, and the way it made me feel, and just how it was just awesome, if I could just say that.
It just made me feel really good at the end. The storylines, like I said earlier, had an excellent closing to it, and it made me feel good and ready for the next chapter in that series or in that storyline. Because
Exactly.
I really want to see where Joel Egerton takes the orc character, or actually where the screenwriter takes him emotionally. Because I think that he has that his character is going to go through the biggest emotional character arc in the next film. Yeah. Because there's just so many layers to him that we were not able to get into, in this film.
Yeah, but the story in general, I mean, the world that it's in, there's so much more that you could go on.
I know. Honestly, I really hope they do a TV series.
Yeah, I've thought the same. I couldn't agree more. I mean, there's just so much to it that you just want more, and you want to explore the different, the different communities in this world, and how you have the orcs. I just want more of just this. This was just a part of it. This was their adventure. What else is going on in that world?
Exactly.
Refreshing. It's. I can't really count how many have had the same kind of creatures in it. Really, honestly. So yeah, you're right. Say real quick that hopefully that inspires more writers and others to do similar things, to just get outside that box, and you never know what you can create with these different genres. So just branch out and just combine them like this movie did here. great, just like this one. So.
Exactly. I mean, the whole key to writing, well, there's two keys to writing. One, if you don't have a thick skin and can't take criticism, don't be a writer.
That's a whole other thing. Yeah. I mean, being creatives, you have to be open to the criticism of others on a daily basis, because when others creating something, I mean, it becomes, a part of the routine where you're not even thinking about it. You're just looking for, someone to, hey, critique this, because we're always trying to get better, so we don't want to just stay, at the same level of what we're doing. We want to keep getting better. So, yeah, we're always being open to that criticism is definitely crucial.
Exactly. And, the other second key to screenwriting is get outside of your comfort zone. Don't continually sit inside the same box and write, because then you're not growing as a writer. You have to get outside of your comfort zone. Me, I'm not a love story type of guy. That is just not something that I'm comfortable writing. But yet I'm working on one because it'll make me a better writer. Even if it sucks, I'm still going to learn something from it. I'll learn what not to do.
It's true. I mean, and you grow by means of doing what you know how to do, but also by something that you don't really know too much about.
Yeah. So yeah. In closing, what is the best piece of advice that you can give young actors that are just coming out? What's the best piece of advice you could give them, starting out in their career?
The best piece is actually something that I've built upon with hearing from one of the examples of going back to the great Bryan Cranston again. Basically, I'm going to try and explain it the best. He explained it really well, but basically it's when we're actors, we go out for so many auditions or audition tapes or whatever it is you're doing. Go into the audition room, or when you're doing that audition, to give them a gift, really. And don't concern yourself about, I have to get this role, or I have to land this. Because, that in a way is taking away power, rather than you going in there, giving these casting directors or director, producer, whoever, giving them this gift is what you call it. And that's your acting ability. Hey, here's my take on this role. You give that to them. You do your best with just that. There's power in that, because you're not worrying yourself about what you don't have control over. You can't give yourself that role. It's not yours yet, Yeah. So don't worry yourself about that, because you can't control that. You control your ability. So go into that room or on that tape, give it what you have right then and there. Give them that gift, so to speak, and move on. Go on to the next audition. You can't control what's out of your control. Basically that. So just go into that audition. And, it's simple as that. Just give them the gift. And there's so much power in that. Believe me, I do it every time. You move on to the next audition, and whatever happens from there, it happens. Just keep on acting, because you are an actor. So go in there and act.
That was excellent advice, and thank you for doing this interview. I know that it started a lot later than it had anticipated, just because of all the technical difficulties. So I apologize to you, and I thank you for your patience. And I hope you really enjoyed the interview, and that you'll come back again. So when you have a new project to talk about, or the existing project that you're on that you can't talk about right now.
Those out there, waiting on them, but for sure. I mean, I enjoyed this opportunity to come on and talk to you. I mean, I love talking film, so this was a great opportunity. Great to meet you. Hope to come on for sure and talk about these films that have yet to have been released. Beauty is Skin Deep, the drama film, also my audio drama, Pilgrimage Saga, which is actually already out, except for my season. It's not out yet. So that's Pilgrimage Saga if anyone wants to go listen to that. Spotify, iTunes, whatever you listen to podcasts on. So go
what are your social accounts?
Well, all of them are my name. It's spelled kind of different. It's not R-I-C-O. It's R-E-E-K-O Brooks. So all of my social accounts are just my name, basically. Reeko Brooks, just like that.
Reeko
Twitter,
Brooks.
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever in the world you want to use. That's my name on everything, Reeko Brooks.
Excellent. So it's ReekoBrooks.com?
Anything. My website is not up at the moment. I took that down temporarily for some edits, but
Okay.
you can find me just Reeko Brooks on anything, at Reeko Brooks, whatever you've got. Like I said, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, whatever you've got, there I am.
Awesome. Well, it's great having you on. I look forward to having you on again. Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. Please make sure to like us on Facebook and check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. All the links can be found below in the episode descriptions. And remember, always inhale responsibly.